Hello again. Welcome to SummitVBFan. I'm your host, Jeremy Cleveland, and we continue our countdown to first serve today. I'm joined by the head coach of the St. Thomas Tommies, Thanh Pham. And you know what, Coach? I'll tell you this. I've over the last couple decades, I've heard hundreds of coaches tell me their game plan to master the transition to Division One and make the tournament in their first year. But you got to live the Disney movie, the Hallmark ending. It's 9 months later. Reflect on that for just a moment, what it meant to you and your nine seniors a year ago.
Well, it's hard to put into words because that group was just so special. Not only those nine seniors, but all the young ladies that were a part of that team and all the hard work they put into it. Um, you know, uh, like every coach, we just preach, let's get a little bit better, let's get a little bit better, and let's see where it takes us. And it just, it took us to the NCAA tournament. Couldn't be more proud of that group of nine that you mentioned, those seniors, because, their freshman year, I think we won maybe 7 matches. And to stick with them and not bring in a ton of transfers, and just again doing it the homegrown way with 1% improvement every day, leading us to our tournament berth last year. It was truly special for me.
Yeah, I think that's why it has to be the Disney movie because you always have that challenge early, and then it just keeps building up, and it was great to see. And I watched that Midco championship match against South Dakota State a couple times in the offseason, and watching the emotion of you and your players afterwards, it just sent chills every time I watched it. So very happy for you last year, and now looking forward to this season. It's tough not to start with your two-time setter of the year, Kealy. So tell me what she does for your roster. And in a league that has tons of good setters, Morgan Kealy is the best in the business.
Um, we just had a team meeting, and where your teammates have to describe you, and the word "goofy" came up for Morgan more times than not. She's just a happy soul. Loves to compete, loves to win. On the court, off the court, she loves playing cards and being goofy and just being a teenager, right? So it's been a lot of fun to watch her growth and watch her mature into the leader that she is today. Um, we would not be the same team without her for sure. She's the quarterback of our team. She just can control every contact. She makes everything look so easy. And she's just intelligent about the game. So I'm very fortunate to get to coach her for at least one more season. With the new 5-for-5 rule, we'll see if it's two, but I think that she might have other plans. Who knows? But we're just looking at 1 year at a time, and we couldn't be more fortunate to have her for this season.
Well, live in the moment, enjoy this season in case it's her last playing. But yeah, it's been a great run for her in the Summit. And hey, three-time setter of the year, that'd be something special too to go out that way. But looking at some of your other returning players this year, you have an all-freshman returning in Anya Schmidt. Talk to me about what she brings to the roster.
Anya is a force. You watch her hit, you watch her serve. She plays with this edge about her that she's going to put everything she has into every contact. And truth be told, 2 years ago she was a setter. She turned into and transformed herself into one of the best outside hitters in our league. And all the work that she's put in, I couldn't be more proud of her. Yeah, I mean, she's going to have to carry a big load this year, and we're hopeful and excited that she can. Um, Improvement we're seeing every day in the gym. We just got to hope that it translates when we have competitions.
Okay. Another player that stood out as I was kind of going through like a top 20 list of returning players in the Summit, Ellie Gustafson. She was like top 25 in 5 different categories last year. Just a good, well-rounded player for you. Talk to me a little bit about her.
Yeah, Gus. We call her Gus, and Gus for us, she's just been a pillar, a mainstay, one of the best six rotation players that we've had here in our history at St. Thomas. She's described it from her teammates as funny, a jokester, very lighthearted. But when she gets on the court, so competitive. I'd be hard pressed to find anyone else on the team that loves winning more than her. Again, we're very fortunate to have these players and to coach them for an additional year. Gus has led our back row in our passing and our defense, and into the front row. There's been last season, there were 7 times where she had over 400. So you just never know what you're going to get out of her on a day-to-day basis, except for she's going to work hard and support her teammates. And as a coach, I couldn't ask for anything more.
Well, as you just described your last couple players there, I'm just kind of curious. They play a lot of pranks on you when you go on road trips, or no?
They know better.
Okay, okay,
They pull pranks on each other. So
okay.
they love to have a good time and laugh. And um, Jackie Richter, one of our assistant coaches, is in that same boat. When it's time for business, she's super serious, but when it's not, she loves to smile and have a good time too.
Okay, I have a funny feeling when you guys are on road trips, it's loose. You got a good environment, and you'll
Yeah.
turn it on when it's time. So losing so many players, that means you had to bring in a lot of players this year. And I know you went to the portal to get a very intriguing one out of Providence, bringing her home. I think she's a Shoreview, Minnesota kid. Talk to me about that transfer and how she's doing so far.
Audrey is fitting in so well with us. Um, I don't know what happened in her previous institution, and I don't even want to speculate. I'm just so thankful that she's here with us now. She brings a heavy arm, smart blocking, the ability to set. Like she's the complete package. And by the way, she's probably our best back row defender right now. So again, I think that she fits into our program and the style of play that we want to implement on the court very well. It seems seamless, a transition right now for her to be integrated on our team. And again, we have a lot of other kids that are waiting, ready to step up in those areas since losing those 9 seniors. But Audrey will fill a big hole for us for sure.
Yeah, looking at her stats last year at Providence, she looks like a well-rounded player, and I was like, that was a nice late portal ad for you. You had to be smiling when you saw that name come across. Looking at some of the freshmen you bring in, you have a lot of freshmen that had high praise on the Prep Day rankings and elsewhere. Who's maybe stood out, or maybe even a returning player that has made a big leap forward here between spring and fall?
Yeah, one of the freshmen that is coming to mind right now is Kira Brundage, and she's a DS from New Prague, Minnesota, and she's just been passing lights out, playing high level defense. Um, she happened to play along with Ella Thorson and Bryn Lunsky, two other recruits that we had come in this year on the same AU team last year, and to watch the three of them come into our program and do their thing has been pretty special. Madison Jones from Idaho is also joining us as one of the 4 freshmen, and so as a middle, and she's again adding her unique personality and her skill set to our team, and we couldn't be more thankful. Last kid is Sophia De Lavelle, and she is a dynamite back row player for us. We lost a lot of ball control losing those 9 seniors, and it's just been combination. It's been a work by committee to try to fill those gaps.
Yeah, and she's a transfer, I think, for Presbyterian that played a ton in the past as well. So a nice experience piece that you add through the portal there. So a nice add there. You kind of segued into a question that was submitted, and the same question was submitted to Coach Williamson at South Dakota. We have one of our listeners that really cares about the back row defense out there. So they're kind of curious when you talk about how things are coming together with some new faces there, how the serve receive and the first contact play is going so far to set up Morgan in the best position.
Well, with Morgan, it doesn't have to be perfect, and that creates a different dynamic for us. Sometimes we're just saying, "Hey, let's just survive serve receive." Not even we don't even care if it's perfect, and Morgan can do something really really good with it. Your fan is really intelligent about the game. We value the first ball contact more than any other contact, and again, that is where there are still some unanswered questions. I'd like to say we have it figured out, but we definitely don't. These upcoming competitions will show us a lot, and we're looking forward to figuring out who we want to be with that first ball contact. But yeah, definitely a big question mark that we have to have answered this year.
Okay, I'm going to go off script for a moment. One of the names you mentioned earlier, a freshman, Ella Thorson. I'm really kind of curious about her because her dad is one of my basketball heroes. Of course, he's a famous Minnesota coach. You can let him know, though, he does not have as many wins as you. He has 500 some, but you have more. So remind him that if necessary. But talk to me about her and if her dad's getting in your way at all.
Oh, Dave's been nothing but great. He and Rita have been so supportive of our program. Ella's mom. Ella is she's a hard worker. She's a grinder. She's a winner. we just see every day that she's trying to emulate Morgan as a setter, and so those are all good things. They're actually currently watching film together right now. The bond that they share is special, and again, we're not looking to replace Morgan, but when the time comes, we feel like we have a capable backup in Ella for sure.
Yeah, you want to be a sponge and get all of Morgan's knowledge. I'm sure that's that would be anybody's best interest. Talking about kind of special, St. Thomas is special in general. I saw an article today. Patrick Royce wrote about your football coach, Glenn Caruso, who's been there for a long time now. Not as long as you though, entering your 24th season. And then I think you've had like 3 basketball coaches in like 70 years there on the men's side. What makes St. Thomas so special, and what's kept you there so long?
Honestly, I think it's the people. St. Thomas is, a place, and they have all the right ideas, but it's the people that we get to work with on the day in and day out, and it never seems like a job. It's a labor of love, and I couldn't feel more supported by my administration, so I couldn't thank them enough. And our president, he comes to games, and it's just one of those unique environments where everyone seems to be aligned from top to bottom on what their values are, and where they want these programs to be. And I think that when you have that, it makes, as a coach, it makes you want to stay. So yeah, I just think that the people that we have around us, and supporting our program makes it easy for us to do one more year, and then one more year turns into 24. So who knows how many years left? That'll be up to somebody else. And I just know that I love what I'm doing right now, and I never feel like I have to go to work.
Yeah, no, I thought that was one of the unique things. I mean, you're in a 20-year club, and just to have that experience in the building is kind of nice. I'm sure you can kind of talk amongst the coaches occasionally and brainstorm as you go through a transition together. You go through lots of rule changes in NCAA athletics, that's for sure. One question, going back, of course, before the transition, I live in Fargo. When you drive up to play NDSU, do you ever tell the bus driver you missed your turn to Moorhead? I mean, you went there for so many years to play the Cobbers, right?
Oh yeah. Truth be told, when I first was looking at colleges, Concordia Moorhead was my first choice, and then I ended up at Augsburg. So I have deep MIC ties. I believe that that league, that conference, it has a special place in my heart. And driving up to Fargo does remind me of those trips. It used to be our longest trip. Now it's our shortest trip. Division One has changed a lot, but not the values that we have of for that first ball contact and really wanting to win. So it's all been good, and very thankful that we get to do it.
Yeah, and now you get to do it for real here later this week. You make a trip out to Laramie. You face a couple good teams right away. Big test for you. You face the host school, the Wyoming Cowboys, and then the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Have you looked at the scouting report there? How you feeling you're going to match up?
To be honest, we haven't looked at the scouting report yet. I think that there's enough to control on our own side. There's enough things to worry about before we start looking at game plans, and things of that nature. We have to get our systems down, and that's why we play these non-conference games, is to figure out who we are. Um, I respect the heck out of both programs. They're doing great things, and we're just going to put our best foot out there and see what happens, come Saturday and Sunday. I think that's why you play the competitions. That's that unpredictability. That's what makes it fun. But in terms of the scouting report and things of that nature, we tend to have our own little trade secrets on how we want things to work, and get information to our kids pretty quick.
Okay. Yep. And I'm sure after that first match, you'll have a good idea of that second match because you'll see them in person. Later in September, and not to discount, obviously, playing Montana State, UIC, and Milwaukee at home. Nice to see some home non-conference matches there. You face Miami and Minnesota. And always a great opportunity. I watched you play Minnesota in the spring on Big Ten Plus. I don't think I had any audio, so I had a tough time picking up on who was doing what for you. But what type of opportunity is that to play both the Hurricanes and the Gophers, 2 teams that were in the top 15 last year?
I mean, it's incredible for us. We get to host Miami at home here, and it's going to be a big matchup for us. We're, again, like you said, we're not looking forward to them when that week comes. We know that we're going to have to definitely be at our best. Minnesota's always been. I'm a Gopher fan. I grew up a Gopher fan. I love the Gophers every single day except for the day we play them. Right. So I have a ton of respect for what Keegan is doing over there. and they finished in the Sweet 16. So for us to use them as benchmarks and figure out what we need to do to our programs to help get us to the next level is what we kind of use them for. But again, it'll be a great test for us, and no matter what, I'm sure we'll come away learning a lot about ourselves.
Yeah, it sounds like you and I are similar because I grew up in small town Minnesota, and some people these days, especially the younger ones, are like, "You can't be a fan of the Gophers and the Bison and all these programs." I'm like, "Wait a second. When I was growing up, Minnesota was the only D1 school within a large radius. You were cheering for the Gophers no matter what." And it's like now I can have teams at D1, D2, D3. I can have them all over the place. It's kind of a good time to be a Minnesota sports fan. But Coach, when you go into the season here, I guess. Into the Summit League. It's a tough league. You know that. You went through it last year. You got it done in Brookings. What's kind of your expectations for your team when it comes to Summit League play? And talk to me about how you've even seen the Summit League grow here in the last 5-6 years.
Summit League is so tough. We can never take a night off. It doesn't matter if we're playing, in Kansas City or if we're playing in Brookings. We know every match is going to be tough. I think the quality of coaching in the Summit League is extremely high. There's no gimmies, and I think that's what helps us stronger in the national tournament as well. This year, my prediction is that a Summit League team will win the round one of the Summit League of the national tournament, and I think that's due to the pace of play and the quality of play that has built up over, like you said, the past 5-6 years. South Dakota State's doing a great job. South Dakota is usually the team to beat. Last year we had our run. Count out Omaha or NDSU, and with the new coaches at UND and Oral Roberts, they could be bringing some new juice. So you never know what is going to happen there. And then Christy Posey down in Kansas City does an amazing job with her team as well. So again, there are no gimmies, and we respect the heck out of all of them. We're fortunate to call them colleagues, and as we see the Summit League season progress, we'll find out where we sit. We just, again, hope to be in the top 6, give us a chance, and then do our magic in the Summit League tournament.
Well, that sounds great, Coach. And last question for you here. One of the big things that can impact everything, of course, is injuries. Are you going into the season healthy for the most part?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, it'd be HIPAA violations for me to tell you anything.
We're not going to go too detailed.
We're not going anywhere with that. But yeah, I like where our group's at. I like how hard we're training. I like the depth that we have. Obviously, our top end, we have to redefine what that is. Losing 9 seniors that were high quality and knew how to win. With this young group, they're going to have to learn that. And again, sometimes it takes a few matches, sometimes it takes a few seasons, but I'm sure they'll get it at some point.
Okay, well, thank you for the time, Coach. Once again, one of the best stories in all of college athletics, transitioning not from D2, but from D3 to D1 to go into the NCAA tournament in their first year of eligibility. And oh, by the way, they won 2 sets off of Iowa State in the NCAA tournament last year as well. So heck of a year for Coach Pham there. We wish you the best this upcoming season. I hope to see you probably mid-September. If not then, I'll see you September 24th because your Summit League opener is in my backyard, I believe. So I can't wait for that. And don't forget, everyone, we have Coach Posey at Kansas City. She'll be on here tomorrow. But until we meet again, get ready for volleyball. We play for real this week.